All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for joining me today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So, do me a favor before we dive into these topics. If you end up enjoying the content or finding it informative, leave it a like. And if you are new here to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We are going to dive right into it here, starting with the first topic. We're talking about Spider Man 2's release date and how apparently the recent Suicide Squad delay may have happened because of when Spider Man 2 is apparently set to release. This is reading from PlayStation Lifestyle. They say the Spider Man 2 release date could have been one of the reasons behind the significant Suicide Squad delay announced on April 13th. The speculation comes from Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, who not only revealed that Spider Man 2 would apparently release in September of 2023, but agreed that Suicide Squad may have been pushed out of the holiday season this year to avoid competing with other game releases. Schreier responded to a fan who thought this extensive delay could have been due to the game with a November or December release date, given that February 2024 is a particularly interesting month for Suicide Squad to be pushed to. In a tweet, Schreier speculates that, quote, Spider-Man 2 in September could be a factor too, end quote. So to me, this is pretty interesting because we are getting Jason Schreier kind of chiming in here, talking about the September Spider-Man 2 release. For those who maybe are unaware or may have forgotten, the actor who plays Venom in Spider-Man 2, Tony Todd, he came out and he just casually revealed that Spider-Man 2 is apparently set to release this September. Now, we were all waiting on the supposed Suicide Squad delay, and a lot of people are finding themselves quite surprised by just how far back this game got pushed. It's not being delayed by a couple of months. It's being delayed by nearly a year. It's going to be coming out in February of 2024. So Jason Schreier is speculating that one of the main reasons for this, and one of the main reasons why Suicide Squad is not going to be a holiday title this year, is due to Spider-Man 2. And I gotta say, if I was WB, if I was Rocksteady, I would be in agreement. I would not want to launch my superhero game, especially one like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League that has not gotten the best reception so far, anywhere near Spider-Man 2. We are moving on to the next topic, though, and this is a very quick one. I just want to put in here the release trailer, or the launch trailer, I should say, for Horizon Burning Shores was officially revealed by Guerrilla Games. And I want to encourage all of you to go check this trailer out if you haven't already. It's insane. It's one of the best looking games ever made, and you can tell that Guerrilla is pushing it just a little bit further here with what they're doing with this DLC in terms of visuals. And it's going to be at 60 frames per second. Actually, you can play it up to 120 frames per second if you like, with VRR enabled. But yes, the latest Burning Shores trailer is out. It's coming out in just a couple days, so let me know if you're planning on playing it. Moving on from that, I just want to give a quick update on Death Stranding 2. Nothing major here, but it seems that Hideo Kojima is hard at work on Death Stranding 2 as they are filming some scenes for the game. He's been posting about this over on his Twitter account, and he's with all of the superstars, right? He's with Norman Reedus. Everybody's there, and they're in the middle of just recording all these scenes. So it tells me that Death Stranding 2 is still quite a ways away, but it does also give me some hope, since he's sharing this publicly, that maybe we're going to be getting a new Death Stranding 2 trailer in the coming weeks. There is the rumored PlayStation Showcase. I could see that being a place where we get a new trailer for Death Stranding 2 potentially, but yeah, work on this game is well underway. Moving on to the next topic, anybody who has been very disappointed to hear about all the negative news regarding PlayStation VR2, you might be happy about this topic. This is coming from Push Square, and the title says PSVR2 sales may actually be stronger than what has been suggested. Earlier in the month, a Bloomberg report citing analysis from IDC's Francisco Geronimo, a crazy name there, suggested that PSVR 2 was off to a slow start and would need a price cut to avoid, quote, complete disaster, end quote. This prompted plenty of wringing from enthusiasts who pointed to many perceived problems with the product, including its cost, software selection, and lack of backwards compatibility. More context suggests that the headset may not be off to the same dismal start as what has been reported. However, Bloomberg anticipates that the PSVR2 sold between 270K and 300K units from launch through the end of March, which would actually make it the fastest selling wired headset ever released. In fact, it took PlayStation VR1 5 months to reach 915,000 units, while PSVR 2 may have managed a third of that in just one. Now, the danger here is that sales could slow to a crawl, especially when it's only available from PS Direct in many major territories. It's also worth noting that the 270K to 300K figure is an estimate and hasn't been confirmed by the Japanese giant. We may learn more about PSVR2's actual install base during the company's next earnings call. Regardless of whether the headset has started slow or strong, we still think the organization needs to show more of its hand and outline what kind of software we can look forward to for the device in the coming months. So, yeah, that's the thing. Some journalists are now out here gathering data and pointing out that, yeah, there's been a lot of doom and gloom regarding PSVR 2, but it turns out it's actually not nearly as bad as what some are suggesting. It is true that the sales could, as it says, slow down to a complete crawl, and we'll have to see. But it's just something that I thought was worth mentioning here because I've been pretty down on PSVR 2, I have to admit, but I have said over and over again that it's just simply too early to tell whether or not this headset's actually going to be a failure or a success. Moving on to the next topic, we have in my opinion, significant update on the long rumored Metal Gear Solid 3 remake for PS5. Apparently, a voice actress slash singer is teasing work on Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Being reported by PS Lifestyle, Metal Gear singer and voice actress Donna Burke appears to be teasing her involvement in the rumored Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake. Burke posted a photo of herself with the caption, "Recording in progress, holding a Snake Eater card." Like the new Silent Hill games, MGS3 Snake Eater's Remake is one of Konami's worst kept secrets. Rumors about the project have been circulating online for a number of years, with credible leakers and insiders claiming to have heard that a Snake Eater remake is indeed in the works alongside other Metal Gear projects. It certainly doesn't help that the rumored remake's alleged developer, Virtuos, not only lists Konami as one of its clients, but its developers' LinkedIn profiles also mention an unannounced remake. Coincidence? Fans think not. So it's also worth noting here, it says that in case the tweet of Donna Burke disappears, an internet sleuth zoomed in on one of the recording booth photos posted by Burke and found a sheet that contains the lyrics to Metal Gear Solid 3's theme. And so that's going out to Zone X. So shout out to Zone X for finding that. And yeah, she was definitely teasing Metal Gear Solid 3, and she did the, famous theme song, Snake Eater, which is awesome. And it seems like they want her to re-record it for the remake. So guys, the reveal and the announcement of this Metal Gear Solid 3 remake seems to be right around the corner. But we are going to move on to the final topic. A U.S. senator asks Sony's CEO to reveal PlayStation's game exclusivity deals. This is being reported by VGC. A U.S. senator has written an open letter to Sony CEO requesting information on the company's game exclusivity deals. North Dakota Republican Senator Kevin Kramer says he sent the letter to CEO Kenichiro Yoshida, quote, regarding its anti-competitive behavior and to request information on the company's acquisition agreements, end quote. I just want to chime in here for a moment. I find this laughable right out of the gate because the last major acquisition, and again, keyword being major acquisition that Sony made, was Bungie. And Sony and Bungie made it completely clear, as transparent as they could possibly be, no exclusivity. No Bungie titles are going to be exclusive. Just putting that out there. But apparently that's not good enough for this U.S. senator. So it continues by saying, in the letter, originally spotted by Axios, Kramer tells Yoshida that he was writing, quote, to express concern about Sony's efforts to protect its gaming console business from competition, end quote. He goes on to claim, quote, I am concerned that Sony's dominance of the market and its efforts to perpetuate its current position imperils an important economic development opportunity for North Dakota, end quote. Continues by saying Kramer states that North Dakota has developed a strategy to lead the nation in computer science and cybersecurity education, and that, quote, preparing students for careers in gaming is an important component of this effort, end quote. Given the growing significance of the gaming industry to North Dakota, Kramer says, I am troubled by reports. Sony appears to leverage its covenants to exclude competition rather than enabling choice for players and developers. Sounds like it's coming right out of Microsoft's mouths. He adds, increasingly, it appears Sony's dominance is attributable to exclusionary practices, including paying game publishers not to distribute their games on rival platforms. He goes on to claim that Sony's attempt to oppose Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard is an example of its, quote, anti-competitive conduct, end quote. That's a doozy right there. That one's a doozy right there. Apparently, what Sony is saying and what Sony's doing is contributing to their anti-competitive conduct by trying to stop this Activision Blizzard deal. Man, that's sorry. I just got to take that one in. Continues by saying it's even more troubling that Sony is lobbying the FTC and other regulators began shortly after Sony itself acquired Bungie. Kramer ends his letter by asking Yoshida for unredacted copies of, and this is the order it's listed, all agreements that give Sony an exclusive right to distribute a third-party game, all agreements between Sony and third-party publishers that prevent them from releasing their games on the other systems, all internal company documents, quote, describing the strategic rationale, end quote, for Sony's decision to acquire Bungie. This is okay. So they're actually name dropping Bungie here. All correspondence with U.S. government and regulatory agencies relating to video game competition. And the article finishes out by saying Kramer's letter makes him the latest U.S. member of Congress to accuse Sony of engaging in anti-competitive behavior. Last month, 2 letters, one from Republican members of Congress, the others from 6 Democrats, accused Sony of deliberately making exclusivity deals with third-party publishers to ensure Xbox doesn't gain a foothold in Japan. The letters called on U.S. Trade Representative Catherine Tai and Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo to raise the issue with Japan during trade talks. Both letters claimed that by not acting on these alleged anti-competitive practices, Japan is effectively putting a U.S. company, that being Microsoft, at a disadvantage. Sony has secured a number of third-party titles as PlayStation console exclusives over the years, some of which have come from Japanese publishers. One of the most notable examples of this is the company's ties with Square Enix with the Final Fantasy titles, of course. So, yeah. Apparently, it's not stopping. The pressure's not stopping when it comes to the number of senators that are pressuring Sony to come out here and divulge this information. And I think it's kind of wild. Like, I think it's wild that Microsoft can just straight up eat up Bethesda and make their future titles exclusive, rip them away from the PlayStation console and ecosystem completely. Potentially games like The Elder Scrolls and obviously a game like Starfield. But yet senators are coming out here and they are pressuring Sony's exclusivity practices. They're going as far to make claims that Sony trying to stop this acquisition is actually further proof of their anti-competitive conduct, while just simultaneously ignoring the potential long-term ramifications of Microsoft acquiring an entity like Activision Blizzard. But sure, I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense. They mentioned Bungie. Again, I find it laughable that they're bringing up Bungie because it's like Sony couldn't have been more clear what their stance was with future Bungie games. They literally said they're all going to release on Xbox. They're never going to be exclusive. They couldn't be more clear about it. It's worth noting, as it says here at the end of this article, it says that this is what we've seen from other members of Congress, both Democratic and Republican. It's worth noting that almost all of these Congress people, they share something in common, and that is most of them, if not, I don't think it's all of them, but most of them, their biggest funder, their biggest donor is, you guessed it, Microsoft.